Hello everyone, welcome to the Saturday MP-show episode number 3, being recorded on June 23rd, 2003. My name is Chris and I'm a software consultant. I do most of my work under my company name of Saturday Morning Productions, and we help clients ship secure, high-quality software faster. So in this episode, we are going to take a look. We're actually not going to take a look. We're going to fill out the JetBrains developer survey for 2023. And this was kind of inspired by the release of the Stack Overflow 2023 developer survey. So yeah, I've had a couple chats with some people about this in some kind of meetups that I host, some other casual chats. Oh, which I guess I can talk about right now. The two of them that I co-host are the weekly dev chat, which is every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Mountain Time, and the legacy code, I think it's .rocks. And I also host this meetup, which you can find, the virtual meetup here. So you can find some information. And that one is every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Just because the people that set that one up lived on the East Coast. So it's 1 p.m. Eastern Time, which is 11 a.m. Mountain Time where I am. So yeah, feel free to join me any one of those weeks. And both of them are just real casual chats. The Legacy Code Rocks virtual meetup is obviously going to talk about legacy code issues. And the weekly dev chat, we usually just pick a topic every week, a different one, and just chat. A lot of them are people from Edmonton, but we welcome people from all over the world if you would like to come join the weekly dev chat. And same with the Legacy Code Rocks. Legacy Code Rocks has people from all over, mostly the States and Canada, but we also get some people from Europe as well. So it's great to chat with everyone around there. So yeah, in the last couple weeks during these chats, I used the Stack Overflow Developer Survey 2023 as kind of the starting point to get the conversation going, and we talked about some of the interesting, at least some of the stats that we found most interesting. And maybe, I guess I want to spend this time filling out the next survey, the JetBrains one. But I guess like one of the interesting things about the 2023 survey is for Stack Overflow is they included a section on AI. So they kind of trying to get a feel for, do people like using AI tools? Like which ones where's the one, talk about which one they use. I can't remember. I think there's a section where they talk about the tools that they want to use and stuff. So yeah, it's excuse me. I really like reading these surveys, and I usually fill them out every year. So yeah, maybe the next video I'll record, we'll kind of go over the Stack Overflow one. The other thing I like doing is comparing the Stack Overflow one to the JetBrains one, because you get some different, like a different pool of responses. So you get some different, you get some things that are popular in Stack Overflow survey are different than the JetBrains ones, and vice versa. And there's also a lot of similarities. So anyway, I highly encourage you to check that out. So you can find that at survey.stackoverflow.co. And then if you actually want to see previous ones, you just change the year, and then you can see the 2022 survey and stuff like that. So okay, so let's actually go out and fill out the developer ecosystem survey for 2023. Okay, yes, I've read. And then what prize would I like? MacBook. Did they send me, the one thing I like about the JetBrains ones is they send you a personalized one. Yeah, so you get a personalized infograph. So hopefully they'll do that again. I find that really interesting, where it kind of compares you, like it's like you have to search through all the stats to find out. They kind of send you one where it kind of compares you to other developers, like where you are in your career, what technologies you use, stuff like that. So all right, let's go to the next. All right, so what is my employment status? So I'm in Canada, and I'm technically employed by my company. That's just me. Saturday Morning Productions is just me, but we are a corporation. So I think I'm just going to do self-employed. Boom. That seems to be directly from their own business. Yeah, that's probably the one. I always struggle with how to answer these. And then like the past several years, I've been working pretty much exclusively with Corgi Bytes as a subcontractor. And then so do I fill this out as if I'm working with them, or it's always weird. All right, and which one describes my role? So I'm a software consultant, but I tend to be a generalist. So I do a lot of these roles because I tend to work with small companies. So I would say architect, CTO, maybe. I guess I technically am the CEO of my own company. I don't know. Is that a weird one? Yeah, we do some business analyst stuff. I don't do a lot of data analyst, data engineer. I wouldn't call CTO. Let's say no. I do database administrative stuff, a lot of development stuff. I don't really advocate. I guess I do a lot of DevOps and infrastructure for people. That's a lot of what clients need help with. Right, because setting up a lot of the DevOps, so you have a continuous integration, continuous releases, that really improves people's ability to deliver high quality software faster. Do I do instructing? Not really. Product management. I do SaturdayMP. Well, we used to have our mini compressor, but we don't really have that anymore, so I'll leave that blank. Systems analyst, sure. I do some team lead activities every once in a while. Technical support, not really. QA engineer, no. I do a little bit of UX UI design, but I'm not very good at it. So I think we'll just leave it at that. Definitely a senior, I think. All right, so next. Oh, which operating systems? I actually use Linux, and right now you can tell I'm on a Mac. So Linux is what I use, was my preferred one. I haven't done any Windows development in a while when I was working on freshly with Corgi Bytes. So I do have development environments all three, but I usually just use Linux and Mac OS. And usually, so Mac, you can tell I'm on I don't know if you can see, but I'm on a Mac machine right now. And Linux, I usually run on a VM on my downstairs desktop, which sits on top of Windows. So which kind of activities are you involved? No, not research. I do code reviews, testing, design. Very rare. Sometimes I have to do stuff for my own website, but I'm not very good at that. System administration. Yeah, so I'll also help clients. I don't do it full time, but I will help them set up a proper server, or again, I usually work with small clients, so small AWS setup or something like that. Deploying things for sure. No, not really business data. I help write reports, but not. I'm always curious what that means. Like, what does it mean to be a data analysis? I'm gonna say no. Teaching programming. I do some of that. Some people management. I do I guess products, like, not really. That one's always a struggle because I do help clients with products sometimes. I do some technical writing. I do a little bit. Okay, so this is, I guess I said no before, but I guess I do help with some. I don't make things look pretty, but I can make them look functional. But I leave it up to someone else to pick the colors. So I think that's pretty good. What platforms do you develop? Do I do any desktop work right now? It's like I've done desktop and mobile in the past. I guess I am trying to get that that checkbox up and running again for mobile. I guess not recently. Well, what the heck? I guess I do them all. I don't do any games. That would be kind of cool. maybe one day. Server infrastructure for sure. I don't do really any embedded stuff. Not really WebAssembly. Yes, cloud for sure. Okay. Types of software development, including apps in programming language, either professional. Oh yeah, augmented reality, virtual reality. No. It's kind of interesting with the Apple glasses now. I'm waiting for this to become a lot more affordable and for the headsets to not be so clunky. I don't think augmented reality or virtual reality will take off until they get the glasses to their, just basically like glasses like I'm wearing right now, just like kind of standard glasses used for seeing, until they get them to that size. Business blockchain, no. Oh, database for sure. Oh, I guess it's so clients. I don't really have any clients right now in the entertainment, finance, games, hardware. No. Definitely do some of that. I do especially some of that on the side. Libraries and frameworks, programming tools. Yes. Yeah. Security has been an interest of mine in the past 8 months. I've been really trying to increase my security knowledge. Attending the local security group meetups and doing hack the box and capture the flag competitions, which I do really poorly in right now. System software, utilities, yeah, a lot of websites. Okay. What platforms do you target with your projects? A lot of Linux. But a lot of the stuff also runs, so this is kind of a weird question, because a lot of the stuff we develop now sometimes will just sit in a Docker container, so it can technically run on any of these. I'll just click them all. Because again, I'm a consultant. I tend to work with all sorts of technology stacks and kind of whatever the client has. So, all right. How many years? Oh, more than 16 for sure. So I graduated from university in 2001. Yeah. And I did an internship at university, so I got paid for that internship. So yeah, more than 16 years. Oh, okay. I kind of like this age range one. The Stack Overflow one broke up the age range. They had a 45 to 55 category, and so I had to click, because I'm 45 now, I had to click the 45 category, so that was kind of sad. This one, yeah, I like this age range better. There we go. What country? I am in Canada. There we go. My gender is male. And the highest level, so I got a bachelor's degree from the University of Alberta many, many years ago. I thought about getting a master's at the time, but I did an internship and I really liked working, and I was learning a lot while I was working and reading tons of books at the time. And just learning lots that I didn't really learn in school. Like how to actually get software shipped and out the door and support customers, and working with existing software and other people's software code that they had written. And I really liked it, so I never did go back for a master's. Maybe one day. I'm secretly hoping that some university just gives me a honorary PhD and I don't have to actually do any work for it. Because I don't think master's I could do maybe a coursework in, but writing a whole PhD thesis, that sounds... writing is something I've really had to work hard in the last 10, 15 years. I guess fun fact, I graduated high school with about a 55% in English, 55, 60, something like that. It almost prevented me from getting into university. But luckily I was able to squeak into university and survive. I had to take a whole year of English at university too. And again, that almost prevented me from getting into computing science, because I couldn't register at the time. I couldn't register for computing science till my second year of university, just the way that program was set up. But I survived. But I've been working on my writing ever since, and I think it's gotten better. I don't know. Check out my blog and let me know. Noise from the Basement. saturdaymp.show. You can find it there. All right. Anyway, I'm rambling. So developer, how many people? Okay. So again, like just me, but I've been doing a lot of work with Core Bytes, and they have they kind of jump between these two depending on how they're doing. How many people write code at your company? Pretty much everyone. Is IT your core? Yes, I'll say. Oh, when did you say no? That's interesting. Oh, okay. They list the other ones there. So let's answer yes. Which of the following sectors is your company primarily active in? We do some of that. I don't even know what BPO services are. Big data, no. Cybersecurity, yes. Definitely help a lot of clients secure their source code. And like I said, I'm trying to get better at doing security outside of just source code. So I've helped a lot of clients recently just even secure their Linux, their web server and stuff like that. Setting up things like fail to ban when they get denial of service attacks and stuff like that. Data center, not really. Fintech, no. Hardware, no. Health. Internet, yes, I guess. IT services. Again, mobile development. I guess we haven't really done that in a long time. I do software development tools, yes, because I'd like to create pull requests for existing software that I use. I guess other types, sure. We'll just click that one too. What kind of software or what kind of development does Saturday Morning Productions do? We would outsourcing? I don't know what that means. Does that mean I outsource my work or I'm an outsourcer? So yeah, I do in-house for my own website and stuff. I do definitely a lot of custom tailored software for clients. Product, I haven't really done any of that recently. It depends on what you define as a product. Do you define your website as a product? So I'll just click it. Internal development means yeah, we do that. Customer service development. I don't understand what the difference between these two is. So, sure. Oh, company name. There, fill that in. Okay, so how many people are on your team? Usually I work, so at Saturday Morning Productions, obviously it's just me, and sometimes my wife helps me out with some administrative stuff. She does her own, she used to do her own consulting too under the Saturday Morning Productions banner, but now she works full-time as an actual employee. So I usually work in small teams, so 2 to 7 people. That's kind of my niche. Way back in the day, I did work on larger projects with larger companies, but I didn't enjoy it as much. That said, I think I really do want to try, maybe before my career is over, working at a big Amazon or Google, just to get a taste of like what some of those problems are when you have, you know, millions of users. Most of my clients don't have millions of users. You know, they're like in the hundreds, maybe thousands. So. Which agile? It's like a mix. What would I use internally? I'm trying to think now. Yeah, I guess maybe the rapid development model from Steve McConnell. That's kind of it. Like you do some work, do a release, and then come back, do some more. Is that Scrum? Yeah, Kanban boards. Like oftentimes it depends on what the client has, right? So I do have clients that have something set up like that. I guess kind of Scrum-ish. A lot of agile. Whatever, that's a really loaded term, but we'll just put agile. But yeah, a lot of times we'll pick some features for a release, we'll work on them, we'll do some testing on that, then we'll do a release, and then we'll get feedback on that release, and we'll work on the next set of features, and then kind of, it's just like a spiral. Which not, I'm curious, what is that called? Rapid, what the heck did Steve McConnell? There's that book. All right, yeah, so this is the book, but what was that? What was it talking about? Sorry about that. So the rapid, had to pause the video there for a minute. Oh, maybe this isn't one, but anyway, close enough. Now I'm all kerfuffled. Okay, let's go to the next one. Oh, yeah, JetBrains products. I'm a big fan of the JetBrains products. Yes, I currently use them. Because I have a lot of clients who use a lot of different technologies. So like I've used IntelliJ a little bit, PHP Storm, not really PyCharm, at least not for clients. I use Rider, DataGrip, RubyMine, a little bit of WebStorm. In the past, I've used all of the .NET Visual Studio tools, stuff like that. So, oh, I guess I gotta check them off here. Currently use, so I use this one quite a bit. I haven't really used PyCharm. I'll leave that one blank. I don't use that one currently. I do use WebStorm once in a while. DataGrip all the time. I love it because it can access all sorts of different databases. Rider, I have no idea. I've used Fleet a little bit, their new Visual Studio Code competitor, but I've had issues with it, so maybe it's gotten better, but it's still in preview. So I used to use TeamCity, but I don't anymore. I use just the GitHub actions to build everything now. I should try. I thought about moving stuff to Space, but I just haven't gotten around to it. I use the toolbox too to install all my tools automatically. I have used the code with me once or twice, but not very often. I'll check it just because it's a cool thing. Okay. So I guess technically they're a commercial provided by my own company. So let's just check all these off. Okay. And what programming languages have I used in the last 12 months? A little bit of C#. Coffee, no, I've been doing some Ruby app, but none of them have had CoffeeScript that I can remember. Of course, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, of course. I'm not a JavaScript expert, but there's always some web app or something that has some JavaScript that I have to go and figure out. Well, my neighbor did write a C++ program, but I haven't tried to compile it yet, or is it C? He sent me a little, yeah, the neighbor sent me a little game or whatever that he wrote. I have to try and compile it. In the last year, have I done PHP? I'm going to say yes, although it's at the edge of that. Python R, lots of Ruby, scripting languages, lots of SQL. Oh man, Visual Basic, I haven't used that in many years. That's probably pretty good. All right, what are your primary programming languages? Right now, it's probably Ruby. A lot of SQL, and then HTML. Like you're always editing web pages and stuff like that. A little bit of JavaScript. So let's leave it at that. Most of my clients right now are just clients with a website that I'm helping them maintain or upgrade. Do you plan to adopt, migrate? I don't have any plans to, but like who knows? It's kind of whatever the client needs. So like I'm not a deep expert in any of these languages, but I've found that kind of as a generalist, like usually the feature you won't have in one language is going to exist in other languages. It's going to be different syntax or an API call. All right, word most frequently used is probably, I'll say Ruby, this, and then this. Those three. Again, yeah, I do some. It's a toss up between HTML and SQL, but I'll leave it at that. Yeah, maybe because I like doing SQL more than HTML, and I did a ton of SQL in the past, so let's just leave it at that. For which platforms you develop with your main language? Languages. I guess right now it's, of course, this. Not really backend. I don't do that. So this is backend. Don't. Like, what do they mean by cloud? Like, is this like a Terraform thing? Like, I have clients that host things on the cloud, but, and this is kind of backend. Is this like, what is a server infrastructure platform? I don't know what that means. Okay, just leave it at that. What types of software developer with your main languages? So we do have I guess programming tools, the standard Ruby linter. I'm helping out with that. So definitely websites for all three of these. I guess it's just mostly websites right now, because even my Saturday Morning Productions website is in Rails. Sure, just leave it at that for now. Types of tests do you have in your projects? Oh, we have integration. I don't do a lot of performance testing, but we do unit, end-to-end. Oh, that's interesting. Which databases have you used? If I click this, oh, okay, just adds another question. How do you write unit tests in your? I write the unit tests. Unit tests are very important. They're one of the key parts in making sure your software is secure and reliable, mostly reliability, so that you don't have regression bugs, and you're not. It really helps having unit tests, or just any tests really, when you make a change that you didn't break anything that already exists. That's why tests are super useful. They take time to write them at first, but they pay off big time as time goes on. All right, which databases have I used in the past 12 months? SQL Server and Postgres. Oh, and Redis. There we go. Those are the three I've used. I probably touched some of these other ones, but not enough to count. Ooh, which IDEs, editors do you regularly use? So this is one of the interesting things. Like, this is a JetBrains survey. I think a lot of people are going to pick the JetBrains products. Or if you go to the Stack Overflow one, obviously they're going to use different. Like Visual Studio was the highest rated IDE over there. I don't know if it'll be the highest rated IDE in the JetBrains survey. Be interesting to see. But I use DataGrip a lot. This is a great tool when you have different databases you need to access, like Postgres or MySQL, or even it can even access Redis. A little bit's got some problems with Redis right now, but it's kind of I can use the same interface, same ID to access all those different databases. I don't have to download a custom tool for each one, which is really handy. I should figure out what data spell is. I don't even know what that is. Rider. I haven't really used Rider in a while. I do use Notepad++ all the time. Regularly. I use RubyMine quite a bit. I use VS Code. Of course, I have to use Vim whenever you're on a server editing config files. That comes up all the time. I guess those are the ones that I mostly use. Like I used WebStorm once in a while, and sometimes you get some Python code you need to edit, or a script or something. Especially in security, I've started in the security landscape. They love their Python scripts, so I've started using PyCharm for that. But I'll leave it blank for now. Which right now I use RubyMine. Oh, or VS Code. Or even DataGrip. I'm gonna say RubyMine because just most of the clients in my internal work is Ruby right now. So let's put that one. I really like RubyMine. I'm extremely likely to recommend it. If you're a fan of the bigger IDEs, if you're the lightweight ones, you probably wouldn't like the JetBrains tools as much. You'll stick with Visual Studio Code. But if you like the bigger IDEs that do more for you, but can sometimes be a hassle to set up, then yeah. All right, what kind of plugins do you use? I definitely install plugins. Yes, framework specific ones. Custom language support. Yeah, like if I'm using Visual Studio Code, I'll install like a Ruby plugin or a PHP one or something. Normally themes, yeah, Git. I use GitLens quite a bit, which is by the people that make GitKraken. It installs into Visual Studio Code. It's great. I don't really use productivity tool. Oh, they do have AI ones. So I do use GitHub Copilot. Debugging tools. They usually come baked into the JetBrains one, so I don't install a lot of these. Yeah, there's a... don't really install these tools, those code quality and analysis. Those are usually baked in, or I use a third-party linter. I guess, yeah, like Rubocop. Is that a plugin? I don't know. In RubyMine, you can just click a little thing to say use Rubocop or the standard Ruby linter. I know, like in PHP, I can't remember, you could check a couple boxes and it would just use those built-in ones. How do I discover new plugins? Can I pick more than one? Usually in product suggestions. Yeah, that's probably it. When RubyMine or like a JetBrains tool suggests one, or Visual Studio Code will suggest them. And sometimes I'll just search because I know one of them should exist. But with Visual Studio Code, I find browsing the marketplace, you'll find a couple like plugins, but then you're always hesitant to install them and if they're still supported, and it just seems like a bit of a gong show. Where like the RubyMine, I don't have to install as many plugins because the IDE has a lot of those features baked in, which I like a lot better. Ooh, definitely popularity, because you want to make sure it's supported for a long time. Reviews, and definitely a detailed description of what it does, like a little video, like why the heck would I install your plugin? What am I going to get out of it? Yeah, regular updates, and yeah, the vendor's reputation. If it's by like Microsoft or somebody like that, I'll probably install it. If it's by some unknown developer, then I probably won't. Well, it'll make me hesitate a lot more. How likely to share your data to get personalized experiences? I tend not to share data because my clients might not want me to share it. So somewhat unlikely. So depending on the client, if I can get away with it, I will. Like if I'm using, I guess this is a little different, but if I'm using GitHub Copilot, like it's sending the code to Microsoft, analyzing that code and sending back suggestions. And and then obviously some clients you have to check, because some clients don't want their code to ever leave their site. So it depends on the client. So I'll say somewhat unlikely. All right. Oh, databases. All right. What tools do I use to work with databases? I pretty much used to use DataGrip. I really don't use the database plugins. I don't, even with the JetBrains tools, I don't find them as, I guess maybe I should try a little more and experiment, but I just found them hard to use, or they just never seem to work. Obviously I've used MySQL Workbench in the past, but DataGrip can connect, so that's all good. I used to use SQL Server Management Studio. That was a really great IDE. And that's when I stopped working on Windows, in a Windows environment. I was really missed how powerful that SQL Server Management Studio was compared to a lot of the other like database IDEs out there until DataGrip came along. So I don't usually use Visual Studio Code to look at data. I guess if I'm editing scripts or something. How long have I worked with databases? Oh, more than 10 years, yes. So the one advantage of being working in small companies and stuff is you tend to be you design the database as well as the code. And then we had a lot of database courses back in university and how to optimize them. And I find a lot of newer developers these days, they're so abstracted from the database. Sometimes they don't optimize their queries, or they don't understand what like active record or nhibernate is doing behind the scenes, and you get some really inefficient queries or database designs. Ooh, do I track? Yes. So like the nice thing about Rails and a lot of the newer frameworks will automatically do this for you with migration scripts. So yes. Definitely. It makes life a lot easier. We used to, back in the day, we didn't do this as well, because there just wasn't the tooling for it. And it was a lot harder to keep databases synchronized with your code releases. The migration scripts. Usually migration scripts is stored. What tools do you use to store database schema changes? I don't use any of these. Like with Rails, the scripts get created. Same with a lot of other tools. Like what's the Microsoft one called again? Entity framework, like that automatically just creates scripts and it can compare it to databases and generate a change script for you and stuff. So I don't use any of these tools. Like I don't know what a DB change manager is. UniQL. I did use Redgate ones back in the day. Those were pretty handy tools, but I don't need to use them anymore. So how many connections do you have in your database explorer? Oh, like how many active connections? I would say 1 to 5. Actually, I don't know how many connections DataGrip will open. How many rows does your largest table have? Is there a client with 1 million? I'm going to say millions, because I probably worked with a client with millions. So, all right. C# development. I haven't done a lot recently. What's the last one I touched? I'm going to say I'm not sure. Which program language in a .NET project? C#. I used to do VB.NET, but I haven't done that in a while. So the last time I touched a .NET project was probably a little over a year ago. And yeah, it wasn't for a website, so. How much runtimes do I regularly use? .NET Core. Oh no, now they're up to back in the day, I don't remember which one we used. I'll just say I'm not sure. Which technologies and frameworks do you use? Recently, so I've done some ASP.NET and stuff in the past. Oh, Windows Forms way back in the past. Using Entity Framework. I've done some Xamarin programming and Avalon. I looked at Uno, didn't do anything with it though. We definitely use AWS. Does Rails include? Is Rails included in here? Have I done any of these other frameworks? Yeah, none of them recently, so just leave that. I use, is this all for, this is still for C#. Oh, okay. I think we want to use like Docker. The latest one I had is kind of a application that runs in a Docker container. So, and it uses, I don't think it uses any of these technologies. Okay. For C# development, I like Rider. And it's usually done on Linux or Windows. And which testing framework do you use regularly, if any? I used to like to use NUnit all the time. The one, oh man, I think it was XUnit was the one, the last project I worked on. Performance or diagnostic tools do you regularly use, if any? I'll just say none. Profiler. Yeah, I don't remember. It's always a weird thing about answering these surveys. Like, does it count for a year or two ago? Like how long? Oh, what versions of Ruby? So yes, because I work on a lot of legacy code right now. We have some of this, and yeah, 3.2. Do it play? Oh yeah, we definitely want to get some clients. We want to get them up to at least Ruby 3.1. But it's hard to do that sometimes. Which tools? Docker is my preferred one. Yeah, pretty much got everyone on Docker now, at least for development environments, so that's good. And the ones that aren't on Docker, they use they have a build from scratch. So how you spell scratch? Yeah, so that was kind of a pain to do that. Oh, I guess we are trying to switch them over to, oh, I don't remember if it was RVM or Ruby environment, but we ran into some troubles. Yeah, sure. I've used all. I don't know what ASDF is. Is that a typo or is that an actual? Which gem management do you use? Bundler. How many gems have I actually authored? Like from scratch? I forked a couple to make them work with old applications. I'm going to say I'm going to say none. I haven't created any from scratch, but I've taken existing gems and forked them. Which web development tools and frameworks do you use? Ruby on Rails. There we go. So I think we have a Rails. Oh. So again, it depends on the client. Like we have several different clients on different versions of Rails. So most of my work right now is in Rails 3, but like my own website is up to Rails 6. I got to get it up there higher, but yeah, sure. I'll answer that old one because I hate when they discontinue support. RubyMine has been discontinuing support for older versions of Rails. They plan to move to, yeah, like we're going to get up to Rails 7. In production, I use Passenger, Unicorn. Those are the two. Which editor? I use RubyMine the most. Additional one is Visual Studio Code. And the reason I usually use Visual Studio Code is when I usually work in Docker containers, and the problem is RubyMine just kind of keeps spinning up these like Docker containers it wants to use internally. And when you're first setting up or initializing a new project, that's a real pain in the butt. So I'll go to Visual Studio Code to set up all the Docker containers and make sure my development environment's working before I switch to RubyMine. And then sometimes if I need to do something real quick edit, I'll just open Visual Studio Code because it opens faster than RubyMine. And which unit testing frameworks do you regularly use? We use Cucumber, Minitest, RSpec. Yeah, there we go. And which code quality tools do you use? Oh, I use Rubicop, simple coverage. We used to use Code Climate, but I don't think I have any projects on there right now. Standard for sure. I've committed pull requests for that. Oh, Ruby Critic. I'll have to look that one up. It's the other nice thing about doing these servers, I guess, is I get to look up, learn about tools. Like, I don't know what Ruby Critic or Coveralls is. So that's cool. Which type of specification tools do you use? I use Sorbet. Oh, and Yard. I haven't tried the RBS yet, but I really like typed languages. They're just so much better to work in. You don't have to guess if a parameter coming into your method that just says like customer, is that like the active record customer? Is that the customer name? Is it the customer ID? Like it's type checked. Even if they just put the yard or have a little comment saying this is the customer object. So what type of checking tools do you use? I'll use Ruby, mine's built-in one, and Sorbet. Do you use any front-end JavaScript frameworks along do I have any clients that use any JavaScript frameworks? I don't. Okay. I've used remote development capabilities, remote interpreters. No, I have not. If my client's usually small enough and I like to work on my own local machine with a Docker environment. Yes, I have. Now that conferences are open back up, I attend my local Ruby meetup, which is great. Not an international one. That would be fun. Maybe now that travel's opened up, I'll be able to travel for one of those. Have you been to a conference? No, but I have done the local meetup groups. For operating, I used to do Xamarin to do both, but none right now. I like to use cross-platform technologies, and the one I've used in the past is Xamarin. I haven't really tried any of these other ones, so just me. All right, we're back. We're recording. Sorry, I had to pause there because we're recording in my kitchen because my wife has a lot of meetings today, so she has the office, and there was interruptions for lunch. So anyway, I just finished clicking this next, and I got these error message. This question is required. Oh, I guess I'll answer both. I haven't developed for both in a long time, but it'd be fun to get back into that again. Mobile app development, that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that. Okay, it's a couple other questions appeared now that I've actually answered something. What IDE features are the most important for Android development? Please select up to 5. Well, yeah, those Android SDKs always changing, and updating that was a pain in the butt. Emulators. And running tests, yeah. I haven't done this in a while, so what other... ability, layout, interactive, compose. Yeah, logs. Yeah, and logs, I think, were also an important thing for debugging what the heck was going on. Let's leave it at that. Database, don't remember using that too terribly much. Oh, and ID, it's probably the same thing. Yeah, like debugging views, running tests. Running tests is always a pain. I did figure out how to run tests, if I remember correctly, on iOS. Like, you could run some unit tests. I thought I set that up. Let me... So I think I had some set up for notifications. I'm just curious. I did. See, I do have tests here. iOS Droid. Yeah, I can't remember how I did it, but do I talk about the tests here? Oh, yeah, this was a long time ago when I was actually doing Android or iOS development. Sorry, mobile development. Anyway, yeah, there was a way to run tests, which I don't remember. Oh, I wonder if I put that in the blog. All right, we're getting a little off topic now, but is there a search? I really need a search on this blog. Let's see if this will work. Xamarin tests. Is my blog popular enough? Oh yeah, there we go. So there, I did do, oh, this is way back in 2017. I did do it, and it should be a little green. Yeah, there you go. It runs your unit tests on the actual emulator, which is kind of cool. So, okay, I did do that. All right. All right, so what features do I want the most? Device, yeah, device, simulating devices, and I guess the logs is probably the platform documentation is always super important. I think like that. Let's go try that. All right, to what degree are you personally involved in infrastructure? It's usually, it's one of these two. I do a lot of my own DevOps for like my own website and stuff like that. And for companies, it depends. It's usually a mix. I'm not the key person to do DevOps, but sometimes I've helped them set it up, or I am partially responsible for managing it. During development, yes, I use Docker all the time for development. How do you use containers? I usually do something like this. I don't run, most of my applications are small and they're not microservices, which actually sounds like a real nightmare depending on how many services you have, like to try and develop against. So don't do that. But yeah, I use my backing services are usually also Docker, but they're just a straight up Docker, like non-custom Docker container with a database, like a Postgres database or Redis database or a Selenium Docker container or something. Which configuration management tools do you and your organization use? So I like to use Ansible, and then server templating. Configuration management tools. Does that include, like, where's Terraform? Okay, that's further down. So like this one, server templating. I guess I also use Vagrant and Docker. Docker a server templating tool? That's an interesting question. Yeah, I'll just leave it checked. What infrastructure provisioning tools do your organization use? I really like Terraform, which I saw here. There we go. So it runs on multiple. Like you can run it on Azure, you can run it on AWS. Another person at Corgi Bytes introduced me to Terraform, and I really like it. It's a great little tool. Container orchestration service in production. Yeah, we definitely use that one. Oh no, I don't. In production, I don't really have any, because my website is on Render, and the clients don't have any containers. Like, we usually use it for development, but then the actual production is a server, either like AWS cloud server or a hardware server. So I do a lot of Docker in development, but not in production, which is something I'm trying to get clients to do, and I need to get more experience with. So I think it would be it's a way to go just to simplify everything. And then your development environment is really the same as your production. I think that my guess is too that installing everything will be a lot easier. How do you run your containerized application during development? How do you run your containerized? I use Docker Run or Docker Compose, depending on the... no, Docker Compose. I do Docker Run very infrequently. Mostly Docker Compose, just because it's a much nicer interface to work with. And usually your application has something else to it, like a database or something, like I said earlier. And Docker Compose just nicely brings all of those up. Where do you keep your artifacts? I do have some stuff on MyGit, but that I haven't used in quite a while. I use GitHub. I do use GitLab too. I don't think I have any artifacts in S3. NuGet, I do have some NuGet packages, so I've put stuff up there. Docker Hub, I've created some Docker images, especially the Ruby 1.9.3 Docker image is surprisingly popular. So if you have an old Ruby application and you need a Docker container to run it, you can just search for that one. And I think, is that it? Yeah, looks pretty good. Where would you like to host? I'd like to, all three is fine. Like, I love it locally for development and private servers. Some companies will like that over the cloud. Like, and sometimes that could be cheaper, more secure, or you could just do more with it. Like, I have one client that has their own private server. And then, yeah, most of them, I don't use Azure. AWS is kind of where my clients are. And I don't personally have anything in any of these. I used to have some stuff in Azure, but I don't anymore. So, well, I do have stuff there. I just have to go in and delete it. I have the free credits, and I still have to go in there and turn off some of those servers. Okay. Where do you primarily host? Like, I have one client with private servers. I'll just pick both. What cloud services do you use? Amazon, of course. Do I use DigitalOcean right now? No. Well, some other people, Corgi Bytes, do, but I don't, I guess. So Heroku, yeah, I do, and that's through Corgi Bytes. I think, yeah, some Corgi Bytes clients are on Azure, but I don't do anything with them. Okay, so next. Oh, survey's taken longer than I thought. What cloud service do you use the most? AWS, easily. It depends on the client. It's usually one of these two. I guess this is the one most of them should be giving me, but sometimes I get administrator access. I would say this one. We do have some people, especially some fellow Corgis, that are much better at this than I am. Some of them even have their AWS certificates now, which is awesome. Yeah, I think I know enough to be dangerous. Like, to get a simple application up there, but using a lot of the more complicated AWS tools, that I don't know. How do you maintain code quality? So, yep, we do manual code reviews, code analysis. Not from time to time. I'm going to say, usually not every commit, but usually every pull request. Is that the same as a commit? Because it's not really time from time to time. Let's see, on pull requests. Yeah, like, we do, one client is set up to run on every commit, but I find that's a little overkill. You can burn up your GitHub hours pretty quick. That client, I don't have a lot of commits going on, but yeah, I could see how you could easily burn up all your GitHub action hours if you did on every commit. Do you use dashboards to visualize code quality state? Do I? No, like I used to have some code climate, but I don't anymore. I should probably get back into that. The only other one is like the code coverage graph sometimes. I see those, but I'll just say no. What is the biggest obstacle? Whoa, time constraints? I don't have such problems. There's always an obstacle to maintain high quality code. I think it's time. Yeah, time and high workload are usually what cause me to cut corners, because something has to get fixed stat like right away, and then I fix it real quick, but then oftentimes you don't go back and update it. That's usually mine. And I think the other one is just there is an other. Okay, like lack of team knowledge about code quality. That's the other one I encounter quite a bit. It's just people just don't know. One, that maybe their code's not very high quality. You have to kind of train them what that means, or educate them. The other one is, I guess knowledge, or they just don't care. Things seem to work. Or they kind of know that. Oftentimes, I guess clients know the code quality isn't great, but they don't know why or how to fix it, and that's often where like having automated build that runs all your tests comes in, and then it will inform. It prevents developers from checking in low quality code. Like, it notifies them right away rather than having to wait all the way till the testing or until the pull request review. So. What do I use? Yeah, I probably should get in the habit of using more of these, like the IDE editor. Like I use some specific ones. Like if I'm using Rails, I will use standard. Well, the standard, the JavaScript project, and standard, the Ruby. Let's just put standard, whatever. I use sorbet. Is that type? Yeah, I guess it's kind of static analysis. Yeah, the ones that IDEs provide. I don't really do. It's usually very project specific. So if you're like C#, like the compiler will throw all the warnings if you want. So I guess we could put like compiler. Sure. Compiler warnings. Like you turn on the, if I inherit a project that's compiled like C#, I will, well, you turn the warnings on at first, and there's like a bazillion of them. But if you get a new project, you turn on treat warnings as errors, and that really helps clean up your code. Prevents you from doing anything really crazy. Have you adjusted the static code analysis saying, yes, but not very often. Do you have company-wide policy that govern the use of static code analysis? So again, it's not really written for consultants, these questions. So sometimes companies have policies in place, and I'm just going to say every team has their own policy. So it depends on the client. Do I contribute in open source projects? I do, time to time. How much do you use or your company pay to open source projects? How much do your company pay to use any? There's no zero, unfortunately. I don't pay anything. Just something, oh man, see, now that I'm on video, this sounds really bad. But something I've looked at, maybe subscribing to some of those, what's that called? The GitHub, you can subscribe to creator thing. I guess up to $100. Okay. All right. Data science, data analytics, and machine learning. Which of the following describes your job role? Oh, developer. Yeah. I guess just I'll put software consultant. Okay. Which of the following activities are you involved? Which of the following activities are you involved? Storage, yeah. Well, like database storage, I do some of that. I'm assuming this means larger. What is this? Yeah, I don't really do a lot of data science. Well, let's just put it in there. I do design databases for smaller clients. Good enough. Which of the following data-driven initiatives cause the most difficulty for you and your organization? Yeah, clients definitely have data security and governance. Quality, not really an issue. Data analysis, right? Like reports, like even if we're not doing huge AI stuff, getting reports out there. Don't really usually have to transform data. Data access is not usually a problem. Neither is migration. Yeah, storage is not usually a problem. I would say security and analysis. Those are the things that I spend a lot of time on and that people probably don't spend enough time, especially security and governance. I don't do much data science work. So we don't really, I must have answered a data science question earlier. Oh well. Go back to the beginning of the video and find out. Just put that because I have to answer it. Yeah. What types of data do you analyze? Open data. Well, I do have clients that do transactional data. Oh, I did do a bunch of work on time data a long time ago, historical data, but not recently. Again, we're not really doing any data analysis. This is stuff we probably could look at starting to do in some of my clients. So yeah, I have done that. Customer profile information. Yeah, there's a lot of that. Yeah, I guess those are like usually the reports that I get generated. Again, not really data science, maybe. To use synthetic data in your work. I don't even know what that means. So I'm gonna answer, I don't know. Should we look that up? Sometimes I don't know if I should be doing these videos because then people are gonna see what I don't know, but hopefully it shows other people that you don't have to know everything. Oh, okay, this is generated data. Like for test data, but I'll just put, like we do it for test data, like you'll generate, but I don't think it's synthetic in the way, using algorithms. Oh yeah, no. Okay, I'm gonna put no. What type of data do you use the most? Collected, I guess. Oh yeah, so I must have, okay, I have to answer these. I don't perform data cleaning. No, not usually. Most databases are pretty good. Every once in a while you have to go in there and maybe purge some bad data. Like sometimes someone runs a script against your application and just you have like some sort of form that just lets people enter data or whatever, send an email or something like that. And then all those get saved. You just want to go out, like I've gone in and cleaned those up before. I said programming or data. All right, that's about it. Which IDEs or editors do you use? I don't use any. Okay. So can we skip that? I don't know. It's got a little. It's got a little asterisk beside it. Oh, local files for data, SQL databases. I don't want to use any of these big ones, which always sound cool. I'll have to check out what those are one day. Yeah, before my career ends, maybe I'll work with big data or something, and that would be kind of fun. Oh, when people want reports, like usually spreadsheets is probably the thing I recommend most people get their spit out an Excel spreadsheet, and then the person getting it can do whatever they want with it. No, I don't train models. What specific tools? None. Using to get over the completion of the process state. Sure. No, but I would like to. I don't know what DBT is, so I'm probably gonna get. Is it gonna let me go on, or is it gonna complain? Yeah. Like you guys. Okay, let's put data grip because that's what I read from the. Used to query databases. Oh, okay. So this one. What is your annual? Oh, I have to convert from CAD to USD and then answer this. Okay. I'm gonna say this now, but I'll block this page out. Yeah, I'll have to block this out. Sorry, everyone. So there's all the answers. All right. So I guess I'll pick the one that well, so again, this is based on like salary. Is that my gross or my net? Because I do keep money in the company if I don't need it. Not a lot, but I guess I'll do gross, like my gross take home. Okay, that's how I'll answer that. So last year that was that. Oh, okay. How satisfied are you with your salary? Well, I guess mostly satisfied. You can always make more. All right. Developers change their country of residence. But yeah, I think overall, I guess I should say something that's nice. I'm in after 25 years of work, my wife and I are very, well, not super comfortable, but we're comfortable. So, but yeah, you can always make more. But if I made the same amount for the next little while, I'd be happy as well. Yeah, it's taken us a while to build up our salaries and we didn't start off making what I selected. That's for sure. So if you're young starting out, don't expect to make the same as what like a developer with 10, 20 years experience has. You're going to start off smaller, and you're going to probably live in a crappy apartment and drive a crappy car, and that's okay. That's what we all did when we were kids. It doesn't kill you. Okay, were you born in the country region you currently live? Yes, I was born in Canada and I still live in Canada. Oh, what languages do I use at work is pretty much just English, although we do have a couple people from South America that speak Spanish, which is kind of cool. Yes, I did take, because we're in Canada, I did take French. I took beginning French in elementary school. I took beginning French in junior high and took beginning French in high school. Mostly just because of easy grades, and I was a very slow learner with languages, which I'm kind of regretting now. I wish I would have spent more time learning other languages. French or even Spanish is so popular. Like if you go to the States, it's Spanish, and then I have like in-laws will speak, well, they just say Chinese, but they technically speak Cantonese, which I learned a little bit about, but I've forgotten some of what I've learned, and mostly what I remember is just about food. So I know what we're ordering at restaurants, which is nice. All right, which tools do I use regularly? Definitely use that. Code review tool. Use an issue tracker. Yeah, we use GitHub's issue tracker. Code review tool. An these are. It's cubicle. Oh, I look at that. Is that like a PR review? I don't know if that's the same. Yeah, cool climate, talked about that before. In cloud editor or IDE. Oh yeah, of course, I use IDE all the time. Yeah, and I use GitHub, CI/CD. Code review tool. I'm gonna say yes, because maybe, like, is that the same as GitHub and GitLab, like issues and stuff like that? I'll leave it at that for now. Oh, do we use for work? Yeah, we use email all the time. Instant messaging, is that Slack? Yeah, okay. Use Zoom a lot, Google Calendars. I don't use any of that, and I don't use a help desk. So. Oh, okay. What CI systems do I use? I signed up for JetBrains Space, but now I didn't do anything with it. I'll have to try it again. Oh, we do use Jenkins, I guess, with my clients. Cordybytes use it internally too. GitLab. See, do I put that for personal? Because it's used for my company, but I use that for the website. Oh, I guess company. Company, personal, sure. It's all company, I guess. Oh, yeah, GitHub Actions for sure. I used to use TeamCity, but I don't anymore. Did have a client, they use Pipeline, but we only worked with them for a little bit, so I'll leave that blank. Maybe if we work with them again, which is a possibility. Do we use Jira? No. Yeah, Jira. Use this project management. Yeah, Trello. Oh, I guess I do use Trello for, like, my wife and I use it for planning non-coding stuff. I used to have a client that I worked with that used Trello, but not anymore, so I'll leave that blank. GitLab issues, yes and yes. UTrack, no, but I go there whenever there's a problem with RubyMine to see what the heck's going on. Basecamp, JetBrains, no, all those. Okay. Version control. Oh man, I used to use SVN a long time ago. Now we just pretty much use Git. And it's all, I use both GitLab and GitHub. So I do have a Bitbucket account still, but don't do anything on there anymore. GitHub kind of won the version control wars. And I only have things on GitLab because way back in the day, GitHub used to charge for like private projects or something like that. I can't remember. Their billing model was different, but GitLab was free. So I put some stuff on GitLab, like my company's website and some other things. And then it just stayed there because it's such a pain to move it off. So, and it's good. It's good, forces me to use GitLab too, just in case any clients ever use it. Because some clients are really concerned about having their code up in the cloud. And then, so you just kind of tell them, well, if they really want, they can install their own private GitLab instance. And then they can run it themselves. Does your company allow the purchase of consumable cloud tool resources if they run out? Well, I guess it's me. So of course we're starting up. Yeah, I can purchase it easy peasy, but I'll just do this. Usually most clients, if I'm in charge of it, I can buy more, or it's pretty easy to talk to them, or they're set up for the right amount. Do you use any of the following types of cloud tools in the clouds? Right, like does GitHub CI, I guess that's in the cloud. An issue tracker, like, I guess, yeah, technically those are all in the cloud. Type of installation does your primary CI/CD tool have? They're fully managed. Yeah, pretty much everyone's fully managed. GitHub is pretty much the right one. Where do you keep your? I do have a client that does self-host some Git instances. Sure. Let's do, yeah, and they're the ones obviously looking for GitLab. So do you use pull or merge requests in your company organization? Yes, we do, of course. Pretty much all clients we get, if they're not doing that, we get them on top to start doing that. Which of the following types of tools do you use for mobile app version, if any? Oh, we use a mobile. Oh, I use email. I do Slack very frequent. Almost. I just have Slack installed mostly to just check for important messages. Oh, I did have to install Zoom on my phone once because the internet was out at my location. I had an important meeting I had to take. It sucked. I do use calendars. Yeah. But yeah, I don't like Zooming on the phone. It's too hard. My eyes are so bad. So hard to see anyone. So hard to hear anyone. I'm an old fuddy-duddy. What do we use for package management? I use GitHub, use GitLab, Docker Hub, NuGet. I guess there's MyGet too, but I haven't used MyGet in a while. Oh, what's the Ruby one called again? Why can't I think of it? Ruby gems. Oh yeah, just Ruby gems. I think you might get it spelled like that. Ruby gems. I've never pushed an npm package, so, but I have pushed a Ruby gems one and some NuGet MyGet ones. Use code reviews, GitHub, GitLab. That's it. External tools. Use plugins to integrate. Which of the Git hosting. So yeah, like Git Lens is a great tool, and it'll show you. And then a lot of the JetBrains IDEs. Well, a lot of them already have issue tracking, I think. So those are the couple that I sometimes install. What tools are that I'll actually view from inside the IDE? What tools do you use for video calls, conferencing? Oh, pretty much just use Zoom. Sometimes Slack, I guess. Some clients like to communicate over Slack rather than Zoom. Oh, some clients do use Google Meet too. Dude, do I use Discord for any work stuff? Not some of the smaller meetup groups use it, but that's okay. I'll skip it. What tools do you use in your company organization for knowledge sharing and document collection? Oh, we use GitLab. We use the GitHub Wiki, Google Docs. I guess one client does use Notion a little bit, mostly for them. I don't have access to too much of it. I think that's about it. Whenever I can, I keep all the documentation I can inside the GitHub repository. I don't even like using the GitHub Wiki. I like to use README and markdown files inside the repo because they're all versioned with the application, where the wiki can get out of date with the application, I find. I kind of wish the GitHub Wiki, it could be like a submodule or something, and you could, and then you could like link to a particular version of the GitHub Wiki or something. So when people were, they wanted documentation for version 1, they could get the wiki as it was at version 1. And then same thing if they wanted, what's the documentation for version 2, and they could see that. That would be great. Tide. Okay, so I guess clients use, like these are the ones I use. I know some of my teammates, I think, use a bunch of this tooling, but GitHub, of course. I think some of them use Atlassian, but I don't. So Google Cloud, G Suite. Well, we do use G Suite, so yeah. Any other ones that I use? No, not really. What type of documentation do you write? I do write this. I guess I write all three. That reminds me, I do have to update a user manual. I added a new feature to a website, and I have to update their user manual. I asked if they wanted to do it or they wanted me to do it, and they asked me to do it. So I keep forgetting though. I have to remember to do that. It's not in production yet, but I should do that maybe next week. Okay, what tools do you use to author documentation? Yeah, Google Docs, GitHub Pages, no. Yeah, like this. Or a wiki, yeah, all three. No, I have not. But if there's a good one, I'd be super interested in it. Oh, Markdown for sure. Custom Markdown flavor, maybe. Mostly just Markdown. And then if you're doing like inline, like a API document generation, it'll be something, one of those, maybe XML or something like that. All right, do you reuse content between different documents guides? Not really, no. No, we don't. That would be great though. Technical or checks for technical documentations. Yes, I have. Yes, whenever possible, that's the best way to do it. Which tool? Okay, so I haven't done this in a while. I'm trying to remember what. I don't remember which tool I used in the past to do it. Oh, let's put don't remember. All right, do you need to extend automatically? I try not to use templates. I don't, but I know others that do. Maybe I should start doing that. Oh, in English. No. Again, small clients, mostly in the States or Canada, English based. Although, you know, there has been talk about localizing to Spanish or French. I've done that in the past, but never the documentation. It's always someone else that's written that. But I have localized the software. No, I don't think so. I don't really have much to say. I would never beta test, but I want to interview them. No, that's fine. All right. Oh, okay. It looks like we're almost done here. Okay, so let's enter some information here. Oh, I'd love to receive personalized results. Yes. Yeah, I don't want to sign up for the monthly newsletter, but it's fun to help with the research. Okay, you completed the survey. Oh, more questions? All right, let's do it. Oh, I don't want to watch. Okay. Which types of, I use GitHub Copilot quite a bit and ChatGPT every once in a while. I've never used any of these music or video or image ones. Although our D&D group, a friend played around with them to try and generate images for some of our characters, and some of them were really weird, like people with hands for feet and 6 fingers, and then like trying to hold like a staff or something. It's like their hand merged into the staff, which kind of sometimes look cool and sometimes just look really creepy. I'm for most of this AI stuff. I think it's in the infancy, but it's gonna be better and better. I do have security concerns, both in the code it generates and sending my code to someone like Microsoft or whoever's generating it. I don't know. I don't really have any ethical concerns. Somewhat. We have some clients that are a little concerned about that. All my SaturdayMP work like my own website and internal projects. I have no problem with that. So local or offline AI tools are unlikely to reach. I don't know. I think they're going to get better and better. I neither agree or disagree. I don't know. We'll have to see. They probably will never be as good, but they're going to get better. And as local storage increases, like we have phones in our pockets now, like 20 years ago, we never wouldn't even dreamed of that. No, I'm not worried about that. Humans are already hostile enough to each other. We can handle if AI gets a little hostile. Yeah, we'll fully write code. I think it'll write part of code. For parts, I think for like a lot of boilerplate code, it'll fully write it. Prompt engineering, I think that'll be important as well. It's kind of like Google searching, like knowing the correct search terms enter or the correct keywords enter into Google to find what you're looking for. The adoption of AI code will raise the demand for professional software developers. Probably. I don't know. That's a tough one. I think it will. Depends what your term software developer means, but I think it'll allow some people to be software developers that didn't take a bunch of formal training because the AI can help guide them what they need to write, which I think will be fantastic. I think one of the, like ChatGPT, I think will be great for people who are trying to learn a new language or communicate in a language that they're unfamiliar with. Like I'm talking like human languages. Some industries will never adapt AI coding. Oh, there'll probably be some stubborn holdouts. But I think they'll get left in the dust. I think it will. I think it's going to have a big change. And I think that's going to be true too. Not now, maybe 5-10 years from now. If you're not using like ChatGPT to help you, generate even like an English essay or a social essay or something. Not write the whole thing, but generate some of it or give you some ideas. Same with software development tools. Nothing. Yes. I use GitHub Copilot all the time. All right. Generating code. Yeah, GitHub Copilot generate code all the time. Code commits or code documentation. Yeah, it'll actually Git Kraken has a little feature now where it'll try and generate your commit documentation. Generating tests. Yeah, I guess I've done that where I just put a comment in and it'll generate code for a test. Code comments or code doc. Oh yeah. Oh, sorry, I had that mixed up. This is the one where Git Kraken and GitLens will do that. Yeah, because GitHub Copilot does this all. Like it kind of just tries to fill it in little chunks for you all the time. Explaining the code. I've never done that. Oops. Perform a code review. I've never tried that. I'd love to though. Search in natural language for queries to code fragments. I do that sometimes with ChatGPT if there's a bug or an error message or something. I do that too. You're trying to design something or find the best way, especially in a language you don't know. Like, what is the way to do this in Ruby or Python or whatever? Explaining bugs. I've never tried that. I have to try that too. Summarizing recent code changes. I guess that's kind of the commit message, generating commit messages. I guess, no, I never Oh, see, now this is giving me ideas for things I should try. I should paste into code blocks and see what it says. Refactoring code. So there's already a bunch of built-in refactorings from, well, like the refactoring book, and a lot of the IDs like JetBrains ones have them. Does that count as AI? I don't know. I'll say yes, sure. Generating command line. I've never tried that before either. What else related to coding do you do? I use it as a rubber duck for ideas when I am stuck. So I like to go to ChatGPT and then ask it a question or two, and it won't give me possibly a valid answer, but it'll give me some ideas that often point me in the correct direction. How frequently do you use AI tools for the following tasks? Learning new things. What does that mean? Like, I guess for learning about new programming languages and features, sure. Yeah, I do use it for brainstorming ideas. Release notes. I never thought of that. I do use it to generate the. I'll just put from time to time. Like I said before, I use it to generate the commit messages. Proofreading content. I never tried that. Summarizing content. I've tried that once or twice, but I don't do it very often. I'll have to remember to do that more. Rewriting content. No. Again, this is stuff I gotta try when I write my next blog post or something like that. Prevent the use of inappropriate languages. No. Translating text. I never tried it for translating. Of course, I've always used Google Translate, but I never used a ChatGPT to try it. So, yeah, lots I got to experiment with. What types of customer-facing texts are your work responsibility? User interface, documentation. I don't do. I guess I do. I do my own social media posts for SaturdayMP. I don't do it for clients. So, all right. Please reorder the following. We still mentioned you spend the past. Oh, okay. So writing code. Sometimes writing tests takes longer than writing code. I'm going to put that up there. Understanding the code. Last 2 weeks. Well, most of the code I've been working on, I have a pretty good understanding on lately. So that one's not very high. Writing code, comments, or code documentation. That's pretty low. Probably lower than that. Writing commit messages, no, I don't spend a lot of time doing that. Yeah, I do it now. Search for code fragments inside the code base. Oh, I do that quite often. Oops. Internet searches. Debugging. I did have to do a bunch of debugging the last couple weeks. Let's put it there. No, I haven't had to understand any recent code changes lately. If anything, other people have tried to understand mine. Some refactoring. But I haven't done a lot of that either lately. Again, this is code that I'm pretty familiar with. We didn't have to do much refactoring for the changes I've done in the last little bit. Forming actions in the CLI in a command line interface. Yeah, sure. How enjoyable is, I enjoy writing code. That's okay. Writing tests is usually enjoyable. It's okay. Understanding the code. I do like pouring through old code. That's kind of fun to understand it. Code reviews are usually fun. Searching for code for it's not the greatest, but there's tools. I don't know. That's pretty fast. It's pretty hard that I can't find a code fragment. Internet searches. I don't mind them. Debugging. I usually don't mind debugging. And comparing code, even if it's not recent changes, oftentimes you have to go get blamed to figure out why someone did something 3 years ago. Refactoring, of course. I work with a lot of legacy code. The CLI, I'm not a huge CLI guy. That's why I like my big IDEs. I can never remember all the command line arguments. How enjoyable. How interesting. Oh, this is exciting. Neither boring nor exciting. It's usually exciting. I think it's going to be pretty similar. So we'll just, those are, yeah, it's probably all going to be about the same. Oh, how simple. All right, did I answer this correct? Quite exciting. Okay, because they put simple over here. So, well, that's an interesting question because it really depends on the code I need to write. Or like the code I'm debugging. Like, oh, that's really confusing. Yeah, like it's not hard to write comments, writing tests. Like none of these, this except for CLI, I guess none of these are complicated for me, unless it's like a hard test to write, right? Like, so I'll just, I don't know what that means. How likely is it that you would delegate the following? Oh, yeah, write code. It's human-like. Oh, I would totally delegate pretty much everything. Okay, this is assuming, of course, where the performance of the AI assistant is human-like. But humans can write lousy code, but let's just assume they write code just as good as me. Probably even better. Like I would... like I wish there was an option where... Like I think in the future, most of this is going to be done in tandem, right? Like I would delegate the code review, but then I would also check it over myself. So I'll just answer yes to all these, but with the caveat that like I would review all those after the fact. Oh, I'm very satisfied with my job. Ooh, generous, it's a responsible job. I wonder what that means. Good hours and good holidays go hand in hand, I guess. Well, this one's, I don't know what make the world better, but anytime you help someone, no matter what it is, you're making the world better, right? You know, everyone thinks it has to be some sort of charitable donation, but just, I don't know, just providing some food or fixing someone's toilet makes their life better. So where do I work? Oh, at home. From home. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm looking at doing a co-working. Cafes, not really cafes, but I'm thinking about doing some co-working again in a co-working space. How did you initially find out about your current job? I guess that means current client, which is Corgi Bytes. I heard them on a podcast. Is that in? I guess I saw the opportunity directly. Heard on a podcast. How much of your working time do you spend on code-related activities? Oof. 60 to 70, sure. Meetings, probably the other, something like that. Does that even add up? I don't know. Close enough, I guess. Have you ever experienced burnout? Probably not in the like as a condition, but of course I think we've all been burnt, like just tired of our work. I've had days where I want to throw my computer out the window and just run off to the forest and never see technology again. Do you code on weekends? Yes, for both. Ooh, I did want to create video games way back in the day. Yeah, I think it was a hobby when I was a kid. I loved creating Doom, like the original Doom levels. That was super fun. That's kind of what got me into it. I guess I was always really interested in it. No, it's funny. I have a previous video here where the IDE, the Ruby mine, did freeze up on me. Usually it's pretty good. What do I think? I don't really think how many times IDs don't usually freeze up that much on me. Is it my fault? Not usually. I guess this one. Oh, okay. When I start my workday, the first thing I do open Slack. Is Slack on here? Work chats, I guess. And then my calendar to see what the heck I'm doing. And then a refrigerator, cupboard. You gotta start my day out planning stuff. So and then I guess an IDE. Those are usually the two things I open to start with, yeah. All right, we're good, man. Just really running long. Which of the following educational institutes? Formal. I guess school, because we had Apple IIe's in junior high. Yeah, I guess Apple IIe's. Yeah, we had a Commodore 64 at home before that. A challenge. But we mean activity that tests your ability to achieve a goal that you set. I did get my MCSD, some Microsoft certification like 20 years ago. Is that a challenge? I'll say no. I haven't, like software related. I don't think so. I don't really try to use my ID more effectively because usually my brain is the thing that slows me down. Yeah, definitely by writing and speaking. I've been constantly working on that. Yeah, I found myself managing and team leading more and more. That one I do. And then security is something I've been actively seeking out. So these like new programming languages, technologies, I learn them when I have to. And I think I said this before, where I find like a lot of the languages, a lot of technologies are similar to something else. So I find I'm not really learning anything new. I'm just learning a different way of doing it. I guess. I'm not sure how that's the best way to word it, but all right. How do you track your progress? I do make notes, yes. My kind of daily plan and goals for the week. Increase my coding productivity. I think physical health, like good sleep, exercise, and eating helps. Hardware upgrades. It does help. Like having a really slow computer is just brutal. But I currently don't have that problem, fortunately. Yeah, and then whoever I'm working with, just having a good like even good branching strategy, a good release strategy. Yeah, let's go with those. What should the following help you feel productive at work? Oh, I do like thank yous, personal or public. I definitely like seeing that. Like both of these? Like thank yous are always really nice from a client. Yeah, just seeing the stuff that I've worked on still being used is really nice, or people using it is great, which I think is oftentimes missing when you're a software developer. You never get to see your stuff in use. So I'll just pick those two. I do like thank yous. To use right, like I use Trello, I use my notebook and my Google Calendar. Do you play video games? Yes. Oh, I see we've got a bunch of questions about it. I like strategy games. I used to play a lot more, but I guess casual. Sure, action adventure games. All right, I just don't have time to play them. And lately I've been trying to get more board game time in, so which can be hard getting everyone over to play a board game. Oh, mental health. Sure, I guess I'm interested in the topic. No, I don't do anything to track my sleep. Yeah, like I don't have like an Apple Watch or anything. Do you take care of your mental health? Like psychological, sure. I don't do any of this. Well, mindfulness, I guess. But it's getting pretty personal now. I guess it's the closest one. I just try to get sleep, hang around friends, hang out with my family, get sunshine, that stuff. So, oh, this one often, yeah. That'd probably be it. Like I'll probably be pretty tired after recording this video. It takes a lot out of me. And even just coding, especially if I get in the zone, I lose track of time. Well, working, how often do you find yourself that brings you so this doesn't happen as much anymore. It used to happen to me all the time. But becoming a dad and stuff has kind of broken that out of me, and try not to ignore my family. I'm just going to say often. Well, yeah. Oh, geez. I feel calm and relaxed. The last 2 weeks have been pretty good. Yeah, most of the time. My daily life has been filled with things that interest me. Yeah. I do have an issue that causes me to not sleep as well as I'd like. That's why I do tend to pay more attention to my sleep. Yeah, I'll say sure. Sun finally came out. It rained a bunch last week, and now the sun's out. So, here in Edmonton, Alberta, so it was kind of gloomy, and now it's nice. So we get out a lot. Your life as a whole these days. One is okay. I don't know. You can always be better, but I'm pretty satisfied. Life is good. Yeah. All right. I guess if you want to, you can use this link to take the survey, and then I guess I get some reward or something. And there's the 2022 one. Yeah. Oh, that was interesting. Okay. Well, it said it only would take 20 to 30 minutes, but I think I haven't looked at the time, and I got interrupted several times going through this, but it looked like it took a while. So, so thank you everyone for watching. Really appreciate that. And yeah, hopefully you'll fill out that survey, and then we can take a look at the results later, because it's always, like I said, it's always really interesting to see kind of what technologies developers are using, what the pay rates are, and just kind of shifts and changes in the industry. Like the industry seems to be getting younger and younger, we noticed in the Stack Overflow one. And I wonder if that'll also be reflected in the JetBrains one, which kind of led to some discussions about why is it getting younger? Is it getting younger because the older people are quitting, or just because there's more software developers as a whole, and they just tend to, like, there's more and more software developers graduating or learning. So yeah, well, thank you everyone again, and we'll chat with you next time. Take care and all the best.